Hello, my name is Heidi. I am the communications officer of the Home for Cooperation. It's very nice to be joining you for the Build Peace Conference 2019. Yes.
I am Ellada. I'm the artistic director of Buffer Fringe 2019. And thank you for the opportunity to share our work at this conference. We're very sad not to be with you, but at least we can share who we are and our practice in Cyprus with you today.
To start with, we thought it might be good to give you like a little bit of background information of how this festival actually started, what made us come up with this idea. The festival, the Performing Arts Festival, came up in 2014 by the Home for Cooperation team as an effort to bring people together to talk about different narratives or to question existing narratives on either side of the divide. And since then it has been taking place every year. And this year we organized the 6th edition with Ellada with an ever-growing interest and participation, which we are very happy about this. And we realized that actually Performing Arts Festival has become one of the best tools in bringing new tools of communication between people who are experiencing conflict, which in Cyprus there are a lot of dividing lines apart from the physical one. So this could be language, this could be religion, this could be identities. But when you have people talking about these topics through performance, through dance, through painting, storytelling, you realize that there is a human aspect that everyone can relate to. And that's why Buffer Fringe has become our most important, one of the most important programs. That it takes preparation for over a year. And in the end you have the joy of seeing people actually coming together and enjoying and creating new memories which they can move on from there. So before going further, maybe Ellada wants to tell us a little bit about the 2019 edition.
Yeah. So this year I've had the great joy of being involved in the festival as the artistic and executive director. What basically this means is that I had the responsibility both to put together an artistic program and also to run the logistics of the program, of course with the help of the Home for Cooperation and a large group of volunteers. So when it comes to the model of how the work was done, is that an affiliation to an institution, if some of you know Cyprus, and I think some of you do, that is housed, that is situated in the in-between space between the north and the south part of the island. The Home for Cooperation runs many different types of programs, and it has a very robust and a very able team of people that have helped me to run things from the administrative point of view when it comes to things such as liaising with authorities. So in Nicosia, for example, there are 2 municipalities, there are at least 3 large groups of armed forces around this place. Now we're speaking, we're at the back place of at the backside of the Home for Cooperation, and obviously, being here kind of reminded both of us all the liaising that had to happen with authorities to kind of get permissions for this festival. And the other very important thing is the fact that the festival was communicated to the communities in 3 languages, in Greek, English, and Turkish. The fact that it was the information was out there and accessible to people in 3 languages made this festival accessible to people that may not be bilingual. We are a post-colonial community and many people do speak English, but that basically isn't a reason why we would always find kind of solace in our lingua franca. We do try to make the local languages an important element of our outreach. So material was also produced in those languages. So the other element I wanted to talk about was my approach to the curation of the festival. So obviously, apart from the creation of this team and working with volunteers and interns, The other important aspect was to find an approach, theoretical and a practical approach to the festival that would make sense to artists, both local artists and international artists. So what I had proposed to the Home for Cooperation team as the theme of the festival was this idea of buffer zones in general and spaces in between in general. So there was a certain grounding in the buffer zone in this space where we are now, because it's an important space of memory for many Cypriots and for many people that have even passing through it. It's an impactful experience for many people. So there is a certain grounding here in the buffer zone of Cyprus, but there's also the general idea of what buffer zones mean to many people. So the open call asks these questions to artists. What do buffer zones mean to you? What is your in-between space? Where do you reside? And it was very, very interesting and wonderful to see that we had responses from about 45 countries, about 180 proposals from all over the world. And we ended up selecting 7 proposals. These proposals came from one from Lebanon, Spain, Puerto Rico, 2 from Cyprus, and a Cypriot Swiss, 3 from Cyprus, and a Cypriot Swiss production. Just kind of to give you a couple of examples, our friends from Puerto Rico, it's a wonderful dance group called Claroscuro. They spoke to us in their proposal about what is their space in between, as Puerto Ricans, between natural disasters and between trying to find ways to belong in this land where they many times they felt that they needed to take a bag and leave because something was pushing them out. That resonated so much with us that it was just, it was inevitable. They had to come. So yeah, they were great and brave artists, and they fundraised, and finally they joined us. So we had these performances that we hosted in theaters on October 25th and 27th. And I think this is something I want to show you, because this is where design becomes socially engaged design. We had a wonderful designer called Poppy Bisuriou, who made this booklet, which basically exemplifies the 2 parts of the festival. So the one was the performances that came from the open call, which were presented on October 25th and October 27th in a performance venue, so a theater and a dance space. And in terms of approach and methodology, we tried to do something in relation to the space of the buffer zone, which I think was quite new in terms of connecting peace building to the arts. And it's that on October 26th, we invited and or encouraged people to, and when I say people, I mean artists, academics, groups of students from the whole of the island. So this was a Cyprus-wide collection of people that come in and present their work in installations, and the catch here was that everything had to be interactive. An installation could not just be something that you would show people and say, this is what we've done. The work had to be related to the buffer zone, and it had to be interactive. People had to interact with it. So the whole of October 26th, in this wonderful space that we kind of created, you can also find these online, by the way, we hosted 13 different installations and 13 different artworks for people to come and experience. And this ran from 3 in the afternoon until 9 in the evening. And it became basically like a space where individuals from both sides and many internationals that joined us on that day experienced what the buffer zone was for all these artists, architects, and academics. So this was the experience of 2019. We're very happy we attracted more than 1,000 people in our events. Yeah, we'll see about next year, but Hariye's Home for Cooperation will tell you more about that.
And just to add on this year's edition, from a person who is actually here in the buffer zone every day, it was even for us a different experience that we get to see the buffer zone, the space that we are here every day from a different perspective. Through these performances, the interactive pieces that there were things that we didn't realize existed in the buffer zone, that this wasn't actually normal, even though it was our daily life. So that's why I think Buffer Fringe 2019 was a huge success on this end as well, especially with the interactive zone. So if you're interested to know more about our festival as well for the upcoming years, or what we are doing in between, we are quite active on social media, on Instagram and on Facebook. And usually our open call also goes out firstly on social media and the website. And look out, especially during spring times, to see our open call for 2020. And we hope to see you in Cyprus as well.
Thank you,
Thank
Build
you.
Peace. Have a good conference.